What is BIP?
Bachelor in Paradise.
We have to just abbreviate everything.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 115. Marvin, go lay down. Quit. Get out of my face. Anyways,
He loves his daddy.
yeah. You know what he doesn't love? We have a chicken now.
And we have a goose.
Okay. I don't think you can
The
just...
goose is concrete,
yeah,
though.
you can't
Miss
just
Goose.
say that.
Her name is Miss Goose. But now we have Miss Chicken, a real chicken.
The chicken is real, as in... So I was... I'm going to say this. I find it really funny.
This is about the 7th time I've heard this joke.
I find it funny. I know nobody else does.
It was
but
funny the first time.
I was driving out to get food the other day, and the chicken ran across the road. And into the woods next to our house. And ever since then, all throughout the day, the chicken hangs out in our yard next to the woods, pecking, doing whatever chickens do. And I'm not feeding the chicken.
It's ours now. I think I'm going
I
to go
don't-
buy some chicken feed.
I don't house the chicken, but the chicken has taken up residence in my yard.
Miss Chicken.
That's a terrible name for a chicken.
What do you want to call her? Clucker?
I don't want to call it... I don't want to call the chicken anything because I'm not keeping the chicken. It's not mine.
What about Estelle?
How about
No, it's your
KFC?
girl. No.
Rotisserie.
Hey, speaking of chicken, wings, Buffalo Wild Wings. What do you think of when you think of wings? Football. Football season is here. It has arrived. If you want to talk 30 more minutes about our chicken, go for it. But I'm trying to get us through this episode.
I was going to talk 30 more minutes about the chicken, but whatever. Hey, Bill Belichick's team lost really, really, really bad.
Yeah, they did. And
I don't
think
know
anyone
this
cares.
is... I don't know if this is true. So I might be just talking completely out of my butt right now. But I feel like North Carolina Tar Heels football fans are like Kentucky football fans in that they don't care about their football team.
Well, most Tar
and don't
Heel
root
fans
for their
I know
actual...
root for the basketball team and then root for somebody like
Right, that's what I
Ohio
mean.
State.
That's what I
or
mean.
like
Because every
Georgia.
Kentucky basketball fan I know does not root for Kentucky or football. They root for some
I
other
know
football
like
team.
one person that roots for both, and I think it's because they went there to school.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's the case. Because they all showed up and packed that stadium to watch Bill Belichick drop that terrible game on them.
Well, between the media's waxing on about him and then laying it real thick for Arch Manning,
Oh my gosh.
and both lost. So sorry, John Paul, that Texas
I'm not.
did not win. Yeah, I don't really understand though. Back to Bill Belichick, like I get the whole Arch Manning, like the family legacy. I don't know why we had like acted like he was the greatest player of all time just because of his family name. That was laying on a little thick and like a lot of pressure, especially when he was, at an opposing field. But the whole like Bill Belichick thing. Do I think Bill Belichick is a good coach? Of course. Yes. You'd be foolish if you said otherwise. Do I think Bill Belichick would be revered the way he is if it wasn't for a certain man named Tom Brady? No, I do not. I remember, I'm going to walk, let's everybody, we're going to walk back in time when Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to Tampa Bay, right?
Yes.
Tampa Bay. And I remember having a conversation with my co-host sitting right across from me, Daniel Roush, that was like, well, we'll see how good Tom Brady is without Bill Belichick. And I was like, no, I think it's the other way around. I was like, Tom Brady is like what made that team so good, because regardless of your thoughts on Tom Brady, like him, hate him, whatever, the man is the GOAT. There hasn't been, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is at that level yet at all. He's Tom Brady. And I think that Bill Belichick owes a lot of his career to Tom Brady. You could be like, oh, they made each other better. Sure. But that's one thing that I've never really quite understood, the whole, like, I definitely fall in the line of, like, he wouldn't have as many wins with the Patriots if he had not had Tom Brady on his team.
I mean, I think you could say that of every single coach in the league, that it was a combination of their coaching, but also being fortunate enough to have the right couple of players at the right moment.
But not everybody said that. There was a lot of people when Brady left, including you, that was like, we'll see.
Okay, we didn't know. We didn't know, and we found out.
And I was right.
Yeah.
But the better team, speaking of LA, let's get the things out of the way. So we had game day. That was fun. We got to watch a little bit of it. Got my first pumpkin cream cold brew of the season. I do like to watch game day. It is fun, even though they have so many wrong opinions half the time. I'm going to say that I thought the Ohio State-Texas game was a little boring. I think people expected more, but I think it was definitely like jitters from both sides. Yeah. But I disagree. You told me there's an argument that people have been making that everybody should play a cupcake. No.
I saw a bunch of people online complaining about the Ohio State-Texas game, saying they wish it was the second or even third game of the season instead of the kickoff game.
We have to start something fun, and both of those teams are going to be just fine. C.J. Donaldson, former Mountaineer, got the first score for Ohio State. You're welcome. It's amazing when you don't have a bum for a coach who was, I guess, is helping out the Texas team, which we didn't even bring that up when we talked to John Powell. He looked like he rode on there his bike. Anyway, it's nice to see CJ doing good things.
Yeah,
I think it's really stupid when people are like, what a traitor. Like, he's being utilized, whatever. Do I wish he would have stayed? Sure. But that game was not that thrilling to me. What about you?
I mean, we only really watched the first half before we checked out for the WVU game, but I am probably a minority of football watchers in that I can sit and watch a game that's like 3-0, 7-0, and be entertained if the defense is actually playing well and it's not just two offenses that suck. Now, I'm also a Cleveland Browns
Steelers fan.
I'm also a Cleveland Browns fan, and I'm just used to watching terrible football. So maybe that's it too. I don't know.
All right. In more exciting news, WVU game against Robert Morris School. I don't really know. See, when I say I'm glad that we open with a cupcake, because we are not a team that has $1 million budgets like Ohio State. And I like it when those two, what were they, like the 1-3 team, they have that head-to-head. Fine to start the season. Right now, at the place of my football program is in, I feel like we need to play an easier team to really get a good look and get the jitters out. But I was cool as a cucumber the entire game.
No
man. Sweat.
Let me tell you,
no
folks.
Sweat. The return of the prodigal son, Rich Rodriguez.
She uttered the phrase, fire him.
I was just joking.
Within 3 minutes of the game starting.
Okay, I was being a little sarcastic there.
Okay, well, 10 minutes into the game, you weren't being sarcastic anymore.
I never said fire Rich Rodriguez.
Uh-huh.
I was still joking.
Yeah, I'm going to set up secret microphones in this house so I can record her on these games, because I don't feel like you guys or even she accurately understands what it's like to watch a football game.
But you haven't watched a football game like that with that version of Hope in a long time.
I wasn't asking for it back either.
Well, let me just say, when it works, I felt like I was in a time machine. The tempo, talk about not boring. Having that fast tempo again, I felt like I was like literally back in the early 2000s, and it was awesome. I like that style of play, the quick, the fast. What about you? I find that more thrilling as a fan. I enjoy it.
It's fun to watch. The problem is when you get into a situation where you need to do something other than that, and you can't.
Oh, well, that's neither here nor there.
Like when you need to eat clock, but you can't because your offense is only ever done pedal to the metal all season. And so then you end up scoring. I'm thinking about an Oklahoma game.
That wasn't Rich Rod's team.
I know that wasn't Rich Rod's team, but that's a flaw in the system where they just kept scoring. They couldn't stop.
If our kicker hadn't missed
they couldn't
that
stop
extra
scoring.
point, we wouldn't have lost. I remember being at the game.
I
said, we're going to lose by 1 point.
You know what? I'm going to just go. I'm on Larry David's side with this. We need to get rid of the kickers. It is so insane to me that we have this person on the team who only does this one thing, but the game literally holds in the balance of them doing their job. I think kickers should be out of football. I think they need to go No more field goals, no more extra points. Get rid of it.
Okay, well, disagree there, but I like, sometimes the drama, the theatrics, especially when you can like block a field goal. That's always fun to watch in game. And not when it doesn't, when it happens to my team, it's not fun, but with other people, it's fun. Now, this game started off, and the reason why I said the fire Rich Rod thing is I was talking to a friend and we were like, oh, that if some of these mistakes had happened with the other coach, we'd be losing our minds. Sure. It was crazy that some of the sloppy mistakes. So I think when you have a team that you lost, I think like over 70 players on and a new coach and just everything's new, it was good for us to play a team like Robert Morris because it was a messy in the beginning. I think even Rich Rodriguez said after the game himself, he's like, I don't know if I've ever seen 4 fumbles in a row. That was insane.
It was a mess.
But I'm surprised they didn't bring like a defibrillator in the locker room. He probably lit into them, scared them all half to death because they came out in the second half and did what you're supposed to do against a team like Robert Morris. They laid it on thick. They did exactly what what should be expected of a team. And I'm not going to get like too, overly excited and be like, oh my gosh, we're going to be the best ever because it's just Robert Morris. But when I got my rational brain back into my head, and I sat back from the game, I think there was more positives to take away from that. Do I think it's going to be a tough season? Of course. Do I think there's going to be a lot of growing pains? Of course. But I did see a lot of good. Like I said, when that up-tempo stuff works, it works. I thought our defense, again, I know it's only Robert Morris, but our defense really came through. That was fun to see. I think Nico did great. What do you think about Nico?
Oh, yeah, he was definitely a bright spot for sure. Even in the beginning of the game when they were having the fumble troubles, it wasn't his fault. There were drop passes and there were fumbles, but none of them were on him. He played great. So I think he's the starter unless something. I know there was one guy that was hurt we didn't get to see play, and so maybe. But to me, there's no question about who's the starter.
I think that he earned that spot. Apparently, it was between him and that other guy that has a hamstring injury, so we'll see. Now, it was really fun to see that freshman get in at the end. I think his name
but
is
all those
Scotty
people that
Fox.
are saying he needs to be the starter need to shut up.
Yeah, I think that's just a small minority of fans. I think why we all liked it so much was it took us back to the Pat White days of just him taking off and just running it in for a touchdown, and it was just really exciting to see that. And it was really fun to see that moment. Then he takes his helmet off, and I'm like, wow, college kids look young, look like babies to me. I can tell you, we were talking about how it's been a while since you've seen this side of me. I felt like I got so apathetic during the Neil Brown era. How many long was he our coach? 6 years or something? That I was getting to a point where I felt like nothing in a game. It was nice to feel rage, excitement, happiness again. I was like, wow, I feel something again for this football team. And that was really, really cool. And I do think it's a nice story with Rich Rod coming back. If you're one of those people that's real weird about everything and he got his karma, just let it go. Do your breathing exercises. I can see the argument where people are like, well, what did he do in the 17 years he wasn't the coach? That's neither here nor there. It looks like WV didn't have many options to begin with, and they needed to hire somebody, and it is what it is. He's the guy. He's the coach. I'm going to hope that he has success, and I had fun watching that game. I have been worried about the game that they play this weekend. Before I even knew Rich Rodriguez was going to be a coach and I saw the schedule. This just has all the makings of a trap game. They're going to Athens, great little town. I love Athens. And they're playing another school in Ohio. OU, the OU Bobcats. So with the Pitt game next weekend, I really hope that Rich Rod makes sure, and I don't think I think he will make sure that they're not looking ahead. And I think he's going to have to internally as a coach, because we know that game next week has a lot of high stakes for him based on the last time.
Oh, sure.
He played that team with WVU. So I think that they need to not focus on that. And it will be interesting to see them, because OU, the Bobcats, they're definitely better, I would say, than Robert Morris.
Yeah. But
it'll be interesting to see if we get some of those mistakes ironed out. But I'm excited. Tell a friend she's back. Crazy Hope is back. Everyone rejoice. Woo!
If the WVU team that came out in the second half against Robert Morris plays the full game against OU, it won't be a problem.
We'll have to see.
But we'll see.
Have to see.
But we'll see.
But college football is back, And the NFL is also returning this week officially. Daniel, are you excited for the Cleveland Browns season?
No. Hope, are you excited for the Pittsburgh Steelers season?
No.
All right. So,
but you know what I am excited about, speaking about football? Last week, the girlies, we had a great week.
Oh, God.
Okay, so on the same day that the official pumpkin spice menu items launched at Starbucks, I was like, how could this day get any better? And then it happened. I thought it was a joke. I get this text. I'm like coming back from my lunch break, and I get a text to an Instagram post. And I'm like, is this real? Is this real? Is it fake? Taylor Swift and Travis are engaged! Woo! I feel like this is like America's royal couple. Like, you know how we have like the royal wedding with like the British people? This is like our royal wedding. And it was so exciting. And you're sitting here making a face, but Daniel is a supportive man, and you don't hate on people for liking Taylor Swift and being excited about this.
I'm happy that you and all your Taylor Swift fans that you got what you wanted, but like I mean, I barely get excited when people I'm related to announce their
I'm pretty sure I got more excited for
wedding.
Taylor Swift's engagement than some people that I'm related to when they've told me they're engaged, because it was just so much fun to add to the day. So last week we had pumpkin spice, we had college football, we had Taylor and Travis, we had Sabrina Carpenter's new album, and a 3-day weekends. It was awesome. You said something else about the NFL. What were you saying? We lost that train of thought, did we?
I was going to transition to the TV we've been watching.
Oh, I was going to ask you one more question about the NFL.
Okay.
Bold Super Bowl prediction. Go.
Oh, my gosh. I haven't even been paying that much attention
Neither
lately.
have I. Just pick two teams. I'm going to say repeat of last year.
Chiefs and Eagles. Win. Yeah, Chiefs and Eagles will be back at it again. I don't know. Who's good?
Shadar Sanders, is that his name?
He's not even started.
And the Cleveland Browns.
No, that's their. If they make the playoffs, it'll be a miracle.
All right, well, enough football chatter, because we are not, believe it or not, a sports podcast. We actually did watch some TV. We've been watching some TV, and there's a lot of things cooking for the Summer I Turned Vulcan kind of mini-series, which is The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3 and Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. Let's go ahead and kick it off with The Summer I Turned Pretty first, because I got a lot to say.
Before you get into like that specific show, I just want to say that like when we came up with The Summer I Turned Vulcan thing, before we'd even watched an episode of either of the shows, because like we just saw that they were both coming out at the same time, and we're like, haha, what a funny joke.
Yeah.
As the Star Trek season has gone on, it has been kind of strange how relationship focused the show has been, to the point where it's like really is matching the energy of the theme that we're going with here. And I just wanted to remark that that's been a very interesting and delightful development.
It has been, and I'll get a little bit more into how on the nose that's been when we talk about Star Trek. Yeah. But we're talking about Summer I Turned Pretty first.
What's Belly up to?
A lot's been happening, guys. So the last couple episodes have been the best of the season. I think the last one I talked about on the show was Conrad's point of view episode. We have since had the Bachelor Bachelorette parties. That episode was fantastic. Now, I don't know if Daniel's going to have time to find the clip. Roll the clip if it exists.
He's not.
So he's not. Okay, so apparently you can roll clips of me when I say out-of-pocket things, but can't find something of yourself.
Absolutely.
But Daniel asked me when we were talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty earlier, and he's like, and I was talking about Jeremiah Fisher, and he's like, was Jeremiah a bullfrog? So cue the Bachelor episodes, and they're at Jeremiah's bachelor party, and suddenly on the speaker comes, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and I about fell off the couch. And I'm like, how do you do that? So in that episode, we finally have Conrad learns about the cheating, the on a break, the Cabo situation that Jeremiah inflicted upon Belly. He doesn't know that Belly knows, but then Conrad decides he's going to lay it all out there. He sees Belly on the beach. She was supposed to meet Jeremiah, but shocker, shocker, man-child Jeremiah is passed out drunk. And Conrad says, you know, I still love you. And it was iconic, such an amazing scene. And Belly at her bachelorette party was dancing around to the Ariana Grande song, like We Can't Be Friends, and basically had like an edit montage of Conrad in her head. And then she's in there in the bathroom, because all the girlies, we always have our deep, serious talks in the bathroom. And she's like, I didn't picture any of this. I always pictured Conrad. And it's like, but of course, when Conrad made the confession, Belly was like, no, how could you say this? Which, you know, it is kind of weird that he says it like 2 nights before her like wedding. Like, that's when he decides to come clean with his feelings. So she's like, don't talk to me about this, blah, blah, blah. And that pretty much played out like the book. So then the next episode, which felt like an actual movie, the best episode I've ever seen of the series. It is the rehearsal weekend, and finally, war is over. Belly and Jeremiah are done. Woo! Oh, that also happened last week. The wedding's off. Belly and Jeremiah aren't getting married. Travis and Taylor are engaged. Pumpkin spice, college football, Sabrina's album. Amazing. So it pretty much played out very similarly to how it does in the books. And I think that the few of you, the weirdos that ship Jelly, Jeremiah, and Belly, I think you guys have to be glad at how they did this episode, because I felt that it did show that there was true love there. Their goodbye scene was really meaningful. I mean, it even had me feeling sorry for Jeremiah at one point and actually shedding tears for him. There's this whole plot about the letters in the book. Susanna, the Jeremiah and Conrad's mom who passed away, she had written them letters for the wedding. Somehow the letters got mixed up. And that scene where Jeremiah's picking up his letter and he realizes he accidentally has Conrad's letter pretty much solidified, because she basically was like, I've never seen you, you know, Susanna from the grave is like, I can't, this wedding can't happen. So like from the beyond, she's, you know, making sure
there's
Bonram
ghosts
happens.
in this.
Okay. Anyway, it was like, I've never seen you as happy as when you were in love with Belly. And you, in the whole, like the way, imagine even somebody like Jeremiah, who's a man child, and it just feels like everything's against you. You found out that your own brother confessed to love to your fiance. You still think your fiance is in love with your brother, and you're right about it. Your own dad doesn't like you, and then you're looking for comfort from your mother from the beyond, and you get that letter. And I thought that Gavin, who plays Jeremiah, acted well. Honestly, all 3 of the leads of the main cast were phenomenal. They made it emotional. They made it great. Taylor, I feel very vindicated about that. Taylor's my girl. I did not like Taylor in the books. Love Taylor in the show. And she's always been kind of like a jelly shipper until she realized, because I feel like she was always like that because she only saw Conrad with the information Belly was giving her. And she wanted, you know, what's best for her friend. And she gets, so, but now that she's hearing Belly say, like, I've only pictured Conrad, and she knows that Jeremiah cheated and all these things, Taylor, like, right before the wedding, sorry, am I boring you, Marvin? Marvin just yawned. I don't know if that's on camera. Taylor's like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, I don't think you should do this. She's like, you guys are so codependent on each other, which they are. Belly and Jeremiah, the whole crux of their relationship is they leaned on each other after Susanna's death. And I feel like it's almost like that child petulance of, you know, like, what does Frasier say in that episode? It's because I love her. Where he's going to commit to being in love. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. And I was so glad, because people have just like crapped on Taylor all season. And then I was also really glad about Steven. That's Belly's brother. Everyone's always been like, Steven is such a bad friend to Jeremiah. No, he's not. Like, he actually stood up for Jeremiah and actually told Conrad, like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, we haven't heard from you. Why are you doing all this now? And does he have all the facts? Of course he doesn't. But to the outside person, what Conrad did isn't great. The timing was bad. So Steven proved to be a great brother to Belly. And also, oh my gosh, I was so worried with Steven and Denise. That's like their coworker. I was so worried that they were going to, yeah, I was so worried they were going to put them together. They had them kiss and they're like, not feeling it at all. And so Staylor's back on, Steven and Taylor. Love that. Well, anyway, the wedding does not go through. Jeremiah basically says, you know, you can't marry me to erase him, which is very similar to what they say in the book. So Belly is going to Paris. And guess what? As a book reader, we're done with the book. There's only like the little page, like the 2 seconds of flash forward in that book left. And we have 3 more episodes, including the episode that's already dropped. And you crazy people that get up at 4 a.m., you've already watched it. You know what happens. I think we're going to have an Emily in Paris type thing, but Belly in Paris.
Bonjour.
I do worry that this first ep, because we got that extra episode, which seemed weird, 11 episodes. I'm not sure we're seeing any of the other cast, including Conrad. I think it might just be Belly forming her own friendships. They're going to have a time jump. Now, she did see Conrad at the airport before she was getting ready to go to Paris. Don't ask me why the gate to California would be right beside the gate to get on an international flight, but it's TV magic. I think they're going to lock eyes and she's going to get on that plane, or I think he's not even going to see her and she's going to get on that plane, because at this point, Conrad thinks she's married to his brother. So we have a lot of content left to fill that we didn't get in the books. And I'm excited to see where the show goes. Marvin is clearly over it and is like, why is mommy so animated? But I'm really looking forward to seeing how these next few episodes of The Summer I Turned Pretty turn out. I've been kind of given just like random little updates on this show, but I had to talk a lot because that episode was amazing. And a lot of you guys have been messaging me, asking me my thoughts on it. So those are my thoughts. I think it's going to play out very similarly to the book, but we're going to actually get to see more development of Belly's, life away finally from these brothers. I think she will date, somebody else just like she does in the book. And I'm not worried at all about Conrad and Belly being in game. I don't think she's going to ultimately choose herself. Maybe they won't get married like they do at the end of the book, but I think they'll be together and I think we're going to be fine. And if not, we ride at dawn.
Well, thank goodness for all of that. And Star Trek also.
Yes. So speaking of The Summer I Turned Vulcan, we really all did turn Vulcan.
Yeah, they did.
So that's what I meant by on the nose. We had an entire, I think that was the most recent episode where they all, I don't know why, they kind of had a throwaway line about why they all had to be Vulcans.
It was not,
It was for the bit.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. The perfect type of mess around. We also had another episode, which I don't think we've talked about yet, with one of the previous ones that was Kirk focused.
Yeah.
And they were going over to help his ship, and they intentionally had it with Scotty and Uhura, right?
And Spock and Chapel.
Because they're all the original crew.
Yep.
So that show, relationships. Lots of drama. We have Spock and Leon. Lon, am I saying her name right?
I think is how they say it on the show.
She's like my favorite character, but half the time some people pronounce her name wrong. I still think that Spock and Chapel have a thing, even though Chapel's with that doctor guy. I think that Kirk still likes Lon, and that
it's a mess,
and she'd be down. I don't know. There's a lot going on. Like I feel like there's as much relationship drama right now in Star Trek as I do The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Yeah, definitely. I've been enjoying the season so far. I think we've lost a little bit of the plot from early in the season when we were dealing a lot more with Battelle and her kind of like what was going on with the Gorn DNA in her in these last episodes. But again, it's Star Trek. I want it to be episodic, so I want each episode to kind of be its own thing.
Yeah. And
with a little bit of like continuing story going through it, but for the most part it's its own thing. And they've been doing that.
And they did sprinkle that in with the Vulcan episode because she's trying to get reinstated, not necessarily be a captain, but to work again. And that other Vulcan guy had to come over that Pike apparently just does not like.
Yeah.
But because Pike was in his Vulcan form when he came over, he said all these things, and then it caused Battelle to actually just like snap and be like, oh my gosh, you guys are driving me nuts. And they were like, oh, to be, in this role, you need to speak freely. And that's what she did. I think that they will circle back. I think that's probably going to be what the finale, we have 2 more episodes.
Yes.
I think that'll be something dealing with Battelle is going to be part of that finale, and the whole DNA thing and the whole Gorn thing. I think they will see that through, and that's going to be.
Here's my big question for you about that character, because you said to me after that last episode, she's actually starting to become one of your favorite characters.
Yeah, she's
cooked.
She's cooked. She's cooked. Unfortunately, they're giving her a personality.
She doesn't have the plot armor.
Yeah, we're getting to know her more. Well, that's what concerns me so much with the series as a whole, as that Lon doesn't have plot armor either.
Yeah.
We're being barked at right now by Marvin. He's like, enough Star Trek
talk.
Fine,
we'll stop talking about Star Trek. Okay, well, so you didn't watch The Summer I... You did... You finished... You're still watching The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm so confused by this because the notes... You watched something else very similar to The Summer I Turned Pretty.
You could read the show notes exactly.
The show notes says, Timu Yeehaw version of The Summer I Turned Pretty, a.k.a. Netflix's My Life with the Walter Boys, Season 2.
That is correct. This is Netflix's response, I think, to My Life, or response, I can't even talk. Response to The Summer I Turned Pretty is My Life with the Water Boys. Of course, these are their own books, but I think they made this show to try to be very much like, is there something wrong?
He had grass in his beard.
And we are not referring to one of the characters.
Not one of the Walter boys. We're talking about Marvin over here.
Marvin is, we're podcasting at a different time than we normally do, and he's not into it. He's not here for it. He's like, no, you guys. He's like, you guys are boring.
We're at 30 minutes on this recording, and he's been staring at me for the better part of 25 minutes.
He just snorted just now. Marvin, can I please talk about the yeehaw version of The Summer I Turned Pretty? So anyway, it takes place on a farm. I think I did. I think I talked about season 1 on this podcast. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. What is time? Time is a thief. But it revolves around a girl named Jackie.
You just quoted a Star Trek there.
Oh, gosh. This does kind of go with the Summer I Turned Vulcan theme. Her entire family, except for her uncle, her immediate family, parent, sister, they die in an accident. She is sent to live with Donna from Suits' family. And all the Walter boys. That was her mom's best friend. And you guys know that I'm a sucker for a love triangle with brothers. And ultimately, ladies, we're always going to pick the older, more broody brother. Except for, which I really wish people would stop doing the Nathan Lucas thing. Like, Nathan is the better brother. I will say that Lucas was the broody one. But
they're also half brothers, so you get off on a technicality.
That wasn't the love triangle, though, in that show. Like, yes, we had Lucas into Peyton in the beginning, but I barely remember Peyton and Nathan even dated. The love triangle of One Tree Hill was the Peyton-Lucas-Brooke love triangle. So, case closed. But obviously, Damon. Sorry, I love Stefan, but it's Delana all the way. You guys are incorrect if you think otherwise. And obviously, Conrad and Belly. I like them better for each other. And then, of course, I am Team Cole on My Life with the Walter Boys. But this season really said, you know what? We already got a season 3. Let's go. Let's copy, paste season 1. And I felt like I literally watched season 1 again. What is this? And it's like, Belly at least has, I think, her reasons why she decides to date Jeremiah after being with Conrad, as flawed as they are. Like, she feels like Conrad doesn't love her anymore. And she, and Jeremiah are kind of like each other's safety net. Like, Jackie, in the season 1, she had been...
Okay, we are back. So that scream that you heard, followed by the silence, was the dog sprinting across the couch, taking with him
we're not in our normal podcast room
our
either.
Audio equipment and pulling cords out of boxes, and so it just kind of cut out and like we were no longer recording.
We're podcasting at the wrong time of day.
Wrong time of day, wrong room.
And Marvin says, I hate season 2 of My Life with the Water Boys too. Stop talking about it, mommy. Okay, anyway, at the end of season 1, Jackie had been dating Alex, but she had the connection with Cole all alone. Cole fixes her teapot. They kissed passionately. It was amazing. And this season picks up, and I thought, she's going to be, because she basically left after that. She was like, I'm going to New York with my uncle, whatever. Gets out of Dodge. She comes back. She has this moment with Cole, and she's like, but I think we should just be friends. And then Alex is like, suddenly, like, and I will say this. Well done. The actor for Alex did have a nice little glow up in the off season. So, like, all these ladies at school like Alex now. He's 18-year-old, I use air quotes, like, trainer for whatever his, like, horse riding, bronco bucking, whatever it's called, thing he does. Like, you have to stay on, like, a horse that, like, bucks for a certain amount of time. I don't really know what that's called.
I don't think that's what I was. When I was on the couch for a little bit of that scene. I don't think that's what was happening there. Like, he was, like, going through an obstacle course, right? With the horse?
No, he was not. He's a bronco thing. He gets on, like the back of the horse. They let him out, and you have to stay on it as long as you can.
Like a bull riding thing, but with a horse?
But it's like a horse. They're, like, called, like, broncos. Like, they're
I know that the horse... I'm not the one that had to be explained to that the horse... That the car is named after the horse, not the other way around.
Or the football team.
Or the football team.
Anyway, no. I think you were watching a training scene.
Okay.
But this woman who, no shade to the actress, pretty girl, But I was like, oh, is this going to be like a student teacher creepy thing? And she's like, I'm 18. I'm like, 18? Are you Andrea Zuckerman from 90210 rolling up in here? Because you do not look 18 to me. But I thought they were going to hook up. Then suddenly Alex is like, she goes in to kiss him, and he's like, I'm still into Jackie. And apparently Jackie is thinking Alex is fine too. So those two start hooking up secretly, making out. And I'm like, are we really doing this again? Jackie even tells him, I kissed Cole. And he's like, you know what? Now I know that I wasn't crazy and that there was something in between you guys, but if I don't have anything to be jealous about, it's totally fine. And I don't really know what's up with that. It's annoying. This is a show where, like, I don't mind Alex as much, especially this season, as, like, he doesn't bother me as much as Jeremiah, but he basically be the Jeremiah of the show, if you will. So then she's wanting to keep it a secret from everybody. And then finally Cole catches them making out. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I was being, I wanted, like you said, you wanted to be friends. And he's like, I'm in love with you. And she's like, I'm in love with you too. But, I can't be with you right now because it's too hard and I'll lose control, some BS reason. So I didn't even get Cole and Jackie kiss, not once this episode. I get another love confession, and then Alex comes out of the house and hears it. And I'm like, so if they do that again in season 3, we got, at this point, this whole Alex thing is done. Now, last season, I actually shipped Alex with his friend Kylie. I'm not shipping that anymore. I'm done. They pulled something totally out of their rear ends for season 2. Really, the only storyline I liked was Kylie, Alex's best friend, with, I think his name's Dylan. I keep calling him Nathan because he reminds me of Nathan Scott from One Tree Hill. They are Nathan and Haley coded. Like, popular jock guy changes for the better for the nerdy, pretty girl. And when they kissed at the end of the season, I like clapped. I needed more screen time for them. And Alex totally looked jealous when he saw them kiss, because they kissed at some like Hallmark type of like winter carnival crap thing. And now at this point, I don't want Alex with Kylie, but I'm afraid that's what they're going to go. Put him with the 18-year-old, air quote, like, I would keep wanting to say bull riding, but they're not riding bulls. Like horse training, riding, rodeo lady person. And then we have the whole like plot of the one brother, and they're wanting to put like a ranch or something, like a resort on the ranch.
I heard the word yurt thrown around several
they had
times,
yurts.
which seemed odd to me.
That whole storyline is like, that like clip from Abby Lee Miller from Dance Moms that TikTok uses, is like, and all of a sudden this grating voice, like every time that character comes on screen, I'm like, just please like go off with your wife, be married, because this storyline is so boring and I don't want to hear any more of that. And then they had some, I thought I was going crazy, that there was like plot lines from season 1. And I was like, did I make that up? About like the counselor that had a thing with Jackie's uncle. They just dropped that entirely. No discussion. Those two didn't even have a scene together. Don't know what's up with that. The dad from My Life with the Walter Boys totally had a heart attack, called that one. I think you were watching that episode. He like clutched his chest at dinner. He's like, oh, I've had too much pie. And I was like, oh, I bet he's going to have a cardiac event. So that was like the big cliffhanger. We have the I love you confession. We have Alex overhearing it. Then we find out that the dad has had a heart attack. There's no way they're going to kill him off. That would be so much trauma for Jackie. But really, this show, did I watch it in 2 days and it was 10 episodes? Yes. Is it very good? No. Did they just literally recycle every storyline from season 1? Yes. Will I be there for season 3 with bells on? Yes.
Okay, well, going forward here, so I just want to pat myself on the back. I'm 2 for 2 this year on recommendations to Hope for shows to watch that I'm not going to watch.
This isn't a show.
It's a show. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
You watched the Netflix original movie, KPop Demon Hunters.
I did. Now, you weren't the first person to recognize this. I can't talk tonight. Between Marvin's shenanigans, between the yeehaw, the Summer I Turned Pretty, regular the Summer I Turned Pretty, people turning into Vulcans, football, the chords coming undone, I've lost my ability to speak. But I'm going to try to keep it together because this movie was awesome. So my nephew actually told me to watch this like a couple months ago when it first came out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I had heard the one song, the My Little Soda Pop, and now I love that song. Total banger. So Daniel's like, I think we should watch this movie. And then you decided for some reason that you weren't going to watch it. I was like, well, I'm going to watch it. Guys, like 5 seconds in, I'm like, this is amazing. I loved it so much. My latest crush on TV is now a cartoon character because I like I don't want to incorrectly pronounce their names, but we'll just call it like he's like the head of the boy band and one of the demon guys. I think his name's like Jinyu or something. Please don't come for me with pronunciations. I was more like enthralled about how hot he was. And he's a cartoon, and then he's singing boy band songs at me. But then we have the girl group. So basically it's about this girl group. Like for all of time, we've had the demon slayers to keep the humans safe. And they've always been disguised as some kind of musical group. So they're Huntrix. This is the three girls. And so we have the whole like scene. They're on their plane. They're trying to go to their concert. That's how it kicks off. And then they realize like there's demons on the plane. So they have to slay the demons. And then they're singing a song. They're rapping. And then they land at their concert venue. So it's basically like a musical type. I mean, you heard all the music, right?
Yeah. Oh, multiple times I've heard it now.
Oh, yeah. I've been playing it. I've been between Sabrina's new album, Man's Best Friend, and the K-Pop Demon Hunters soundtrack. I fear that's all we're going to be listening to until October 3rd when Life of a Showgirl by Miss Taylor Allison Swift comes out. Like that's what you're going to be hearing. And then after Life of a Showgirl, we'll get into Christmas music. And Wicked Part 2. Oh, so many good things. Anyway, so thank you, Daniel. That was amazing. The
You're
soundtrack,
welcome.
there is not a single skip on it. I heard that the movie was actually supposed to be quite a bit longer, and that we were getting, and I have a major ship in it. Oh my gosh, Rumi and the one guy, Jinyu. Sorry if I pronounce his name wrong. He's too hot. I'm so distracted. I definitely ship them. But I heard that like there was some more like romantic scenes between them, and they cut it because Netflix wanted them to market this for kids. And I'm like, please, show it to me, Rachel. Give me the extended cut. I would watch 3 hours of K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I knew when I decided to sit down and watch it was I had seen that they, even though you can watch the Sing Along on Netflix now, that they had put it like in theaters and that they were selling out shows. And I'm like, okay, I've got to know what the hype is. But it was a really good story too. It wasn't just good music. Like it was a really good story. Like the moral of the story was good. And then I'm looking at the cast list. And I find out the front man from Squid Game is in it. He wasn't one of the boy banders. He was actually like the bad guy. Does this man like just play like bad guys, I guess? He was like the bad guy. But yeah, the music is so good. What do you think? You've heard the music. How good is the music?
I mean, it's fine for like if you're into that boy band, girl band, pop.
Hello.
Kind of stuff. So yeah, it's right up your alley. I knew it was going to be right up your alley.
You said you liked Golden.
I just like.
You said you liked that song. You're like,
yeah,
this
sure.
is a good song.
I'm just happy because I had an ulterior motive in making you watch this because for some reason, you, person who will be sat for just about any Disney Pixar film imaginable.
I haven't watched Elio yet.
Have you?
I haven't watched Elio yet.
Okay, yeah, but you will.
When it comes to Disney Plus,
right.
Of course.
If it's an animated movie, but it's not Disney, you're like, oh, that's for kids. I don't want to watch that.
I liked Shrek, but I watched Shrek when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Never fighting the Disney adult allegations, am I?
No, you
What
have
did I
no
say?
defense to it.
Over the weekend, I was like, I don't think I'm at the level. I don't have a bunch of Disney tattoos or anything like that. I don't make it my entire personality. I have other interests like Taylor Swift. Hello. But then like 5 minutes later, I started complaining about how I don't want them to ruin the Carousel of Progress at Magic Kingdom. And then like a half hour later, I watched the Disney Princess special. It was like a 10-minute thing on Disney Plus where like Jodie Benson, voice of Ariel, Paige O'Hara, voice of Belle, they came together. The Moana girl and Anani Rose, the voice of Tiana, they did a medley of other songs. And I started sobbing on the couch. I was like, okay, I guess I am a Disney adult.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right to call me out for that. I feel like I always watch like other stuff like Shrek. I'm trying to think of another. I didn't really get into Minions very much.
Like I'll just say right now, like I've wanted you to be like watch
I watched the Ninja
the
Turtles.
Star Trek Lower Deck show with me. I've tried to get you to watch Rick and Morty. I've tried to get you to watch
Rick and Morty is not kids.
No, it's not. But you're like, I don't want to watch a cartoon. And like recently, I've been like, I haven't really kicked this campaign up yet, but I want to get you into King of the Hill because I think you would actually like King of the Hill.
I used to watch Daria.
Yeah, I think you'd be right on board with King of the Hill.
You remember Daria? I love Daria.
I remember Daria. Yes,
that was a great show. But it was really good, and if they drop the second movie in theaters, I fear I might have to go and buy all the merch.
Oh gosh.
It was, yeah. I don't want to say too much about like to like spoil like the plot. I mean, how much of a kids movie can you spoil the plot of? But it was good. Go watch it. I think we need to watch it together.
If somebody already has Netflix subscription, you're recommending it, is what you're saying.
Yes, unless you're allergic to fun.
Okay. Before we get into our next topic here, I do have a couple notes. We already talked about Jeremiah was a bullfrog, but we have a pretty big Star Trek note that I think we need to talk about. So in the most recent episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, there was a bit of a Pittsburgh wink.
There was.
So somebody on the writers team or somebody related to Star Trek Strange New Worlds has got to be a Pittsburgh native.
Yes.
Because they named the planet that they were visiting, what was it called? Like Permanti 5 or something? Which I didn't initially catch. But when Ortega came onto the back onto the ship and said she was looking forward to a sandwich that they made down there with the fries in it.
Yeah, I did. I totally did the Leo. We both did the Leo point at the TV meme like Permanti Brothers.
Suddenly, I was like, "Well, that's not there. That couldn't be a coincidence. It's not possible."
And I actually had somebody message me right after that, and that I know that they're from the Pittsburgh area, and they're a Star Trek watcher as well. And he was like, "Hey," he's like, "Did you catch that Permanti's reference?" I'm like, literally paused my TV in excitement.
All right, now.
Speaking of not fun.
Well, you know what? I actually have good news. Because of the delayed podcast, I am happy to announce that this is the last time we have to talk Bachelor in Paradise.
The last time with the
for this season.
No, the finale's airing right now, and we're recording a podcast episode.
Oh crap! I forgot. It was I forgot that it was so boring that we decided to stop halfway through the finale episode to record the podcast instead of continue watching it.
And then we will have the reunion episode. Yeah,
nobody likes those.
This show has been a total bust. I don't even have that much to say about it. Like now that Kathy and Keith are gone, the last of the Goldens, like what else? I mean, it's just boring.
Let me ask you: if they do a season next season,
I want them to go back to the Krusty Beach.
And they have, like, I'm assuming they're continuing to do Goldens as well so should they even it out more? Like, because this season, while they did bring in some Goldens, it was heavily weighted towards the rest of the younger cast. Yeah. Should they even it out more and make it a little bit more 50-50 split in the Goldens versus
I'd say do more Goldens and then bring in young people, because the Goldens were like the only fun part of the whole season. They were entertaining. They were aware of the camera, but the problem with this cast is they're so aware of the camera. They're afraid to be like messy, and I miss that vibe. I really do miss that crusty old beach that they used to be at and the terrible conditions. Because
the old set was much better.
I think it contributed to some of like just the drama. I do like that they have some games in the show. The thing that's annoying me the most is that the couples that aren't just like, because they have the whole money element. At this point, I think I might know who won because I might have just seen it on Twitter and spoiled it. I will tell you. I'm going to keep it from you. But they have the whole like money,
yeah, keep me in suspense. I just cannot wait.
And you had some of the people that were like, you know, like there's money at stake. There's a lot more than this. And we're just admitting it. Like, I'm sorry, you're on this beach for a couple weeks with this person.
You're going for the money.
Yeah, like, and if you find love along the way, great. But it's the couples that act like they're just so high and mighty that they're not for it. But then we just watched like Jeremy and like Bailey get sent home, and they were like acting so upset about it. And I'm like, I thought you didn't care about the money element. You can leave the show, not have a camera in your face, and go be together. Why are you crying? You don't like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you just made a big stink about it. And I'm pretty sure, based on what I've seen outside the show, I think those two still are together, despite, you know, his behavior on the show. I think what really is annoying for me as a Bachelor fan is that Bachelor in Paradise used to be like the best of the Bachelor shows, and they've tried to make it like a Netflix like love show, failed miserably, and it's just not the same anymore. And I think this entire franchise is like hanging on by a thread. So it might be time. It feels to
me like the only thing keeping the Bachelor Nation, and I include all the Bachelor shows in that, is just the name. Like it's got the name recognition, so people still tune in. But like, and I've never been a huge fan, so this is just an outsider tuning in, but the last, like, the Bachelor in Paradise seasons they've just been getting worse.
I watch because I used to watch the show in high school.
And
so
I haven't tuned you well, let me make this observation then. You've not even been watching The Bachelorette or The Bachelor with consistency.
I could not stand the men that was cast on Jen's season, and I really liked Jen, so I was like, fine. Then she got on Dancing with the Stars, and I was happy to root for her. I didn't watch Grant's season at all because I didn't know him, and and from what I've heard, I didn't miss much. So Bachelor in Paradise is mostly what I'm sticking around for, and I just think a lot of, like, the sincerity is gone. I don't know. It seems like they're changing too much. Now, the only positive I'll say about this season, other than the Goldens being fun, was they did bring back the original theme song, which is Almost Paradise, and the little cheesy, like, sitcom, like, intros. I like that. That's fun. But it's really going to annoy me if Bachelor in Paradise does get canceled and they're going to, like, blame it on people not tuning in when I'm like, you guys ruined the format. Like, you did this. But it might just be time to say goodbye to those shows. And a lot of people, like I said, like, these younger generations, they're like, look at their Instagram pages. They're all very curated. They're all about, like, the vibes, the aesthetic, the style. They're afraid to be messy, and I think a lot of them, like, I know some of the heavy hitters said that they turned down Paradise because they didn't want to get a villain edit. They don't, where it used to be people were like, I'll do anything to get my 15 minutes of fame, give me the villain edit, fine. And they're just, it's very curated. And, like, the whole, like, situation, we had that whole drama of, like, everybody lying to Bailey about what Jeremy had said, and it was like the entire cast except for the one guy, I don't even remember his name, that you and I didn't like. He ended up being, like, the only honest one. And I forget his name, Brian. Yeah, Brian and Parisa. Brian was like, and I'm like, why am I agreeing with Brian? And, like, the whole entire cast was like, I don't think I've ever seen a cast do that. And I think it's because none of them wanted to look bad. It was just odd. It was weird. You know, and I'm talking about more the young ones, not the old. The old people I don't think cared.
They should just make it, instead of Bachelor in Paradise, it should just be Married Couples in Paradise. Find a bunch of married couples to sign out there. We'll sign up. And then just do competition stuff and drink all day.
Okay, so more like Amazing Race style, because I
sure,
thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say something like Temptation Island. And I was like,
no, not that. But the competitions are like Bachelor, the stuff they've done here, but just hanging out on the beach the rest of the time. You and me, we're not afraid to be a mess.
I do need to say,
we get on this podcast every week and are messy. So
what is up with all the sunburns? Why are they not using sunscreen properly? In Costa Rica, where this
everybody's been burnt this season.
So burned, and it's so distracting. Anyway, let's be like Dale from Bachelor in Paradise. Only, like, the two of you that watch Bachelor in Paradise are going to understand this.
And
but
dead it?
I'm deading this podcast. I deaded it. It's done. Wednesday, part 2.
Today
season 2.
Is Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday. The second half of the season drops. We'll be talking about that next. But this podcast, it's deaded. It's over. Peace out from Hope. Let's go Mountaineers. Let's go Team Conrad. That's it. Anything else to say, Daniel?
Bye.